So hello people, I'm down here in Gastown, Vancouver still. I'm not in no rush to get here. Look at this building. Isn't that cool? Starts off real thin like a window and then branches out and takes the same shape as the street. Kind of a New York, Chicago thing. These things are everywhere. But it's kind of neat though. It's kind of neat. Anyway, this is Gastown, a little part of it. Meet you in Gastown. Gastown's about a mile, half a mile, mile long. Yeah, a mile long. Gonna go get some identification, and so I can get a passport and come back and forth to Mexico. That's the plan, Dan. Check out the photos on Facebook. Anyway, so I was at a meeting. New person there, so a lot of talk about step one. And I remember I was like 16 days sober, man, and I was just going to AA, and everything sucked. I didn't like the way I felt, man, just because of the whole dopamine biochemical system was all messed up. We don't know it's chemicals. Like we think it's our, we get to A and we think, man, I messed up my life, but we don't realize that our chemicals and our receptors and our, you know, I had it made on first day Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't know. I was living in California and I had options and opportunity that 95% of the countries in the world do not have. And I had money and shelter and food and a little bit of money. And I thought I had it real bad because I was messed up chemically, you know. The fucking drugs and alcohol hijacked that whole dopamine system, just in my whole body. I couldn't sleep, and I used to think it was because of what I had become, but really my sponsor said to me, you know, I was 16 days sober because it's all messed up. Because you know what your biggest problem is? I said, what, man? He goes, you're 16 days sober. 16 days sober sucks. 2 days sober sucks. Getting sober sucks. He used to say, I wish I had rubber bullets to pass out, because you just gotta bite. You gotta bite the bullet in the beginning, man. It just sucks getting sober. Chemically, it sucks. Emotionally, spiritually, physically, it sucked. Couldn't sleep. It sucked. And but I had no other choice. I couldn't go back to drinking. I didn't want to die. I made a decision. I didn't want to die. And I had then I came to believe that I knew I was going to die, and I knew I was going to drink again, no matter what. I was scared of drinking again. Not just dying, it was the mental torment, the terror, bewilderment, frustration, despair, impending doom, pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. I was more afraid of that than dying, but I was afraid of dying too because I had a son. So I came to AA, and after a bunch of relapses, I realized I'm going to die. You know, I'm going to die, or I'm going to suffer for a long time, then die. So there is things that are worse than death, and one thing is torture. And I was being tortured, man. Drinking, not drinking. I was being tortured when I drank, and I was being tortured when I didn't drink. So I only have two problems with drinking. One's when I'm not drinking, and one's when I drink. Other than that, I got no problem. So, man, I had no other choice. And I had no other choice but to bite the bullet. And just like, hopefully these guys are right, it gets better. And man, did it get better. 160 days was way better than 16 days. And, you know, that's why a lot of people don't make it. A couple things. People will fail to enlarge their spiritual life, or they'll let up on the spiritual program of action, or they just can't handle that mental torment of being sober, man, with the fear of the future and what's going to happen to me, and the money, and how do I pay the rent, and how do I get my video off Facebook, and just what I said to mom and the girl, and it's just like the shame, the guilt, the fear, the future, the anxiety, the resentments, the frustration, the self-hatred. Man, I'm a father. I'm 30-some years old, and I'm not even allowed to see my son. I got to pay $100 for an hour every week to see my son. Like, it's just pathetic, right? So all these voices are going off. So then I go to AA, find out, man, this is a disease. I'm not a bad guy. I did bad things, but I'm just a sick guy trying to get healthy. And when I started realizing that, you know, I gave myself a break, a little bit of a break. I still didn't feel good, but the shame and the guilt, okay, man, these guys been through what I went through. I'm not alone. These guys are living good lives. I look up to these guys. They're helping others. Start doing what they do. It still sucks. I still can't sleep. gradually, man, got better and better. And I started jogging, exercising, eating better, and started sleeping better, and started helping others. Man, when I started helping other guys, I'm helping somebody else now. That was the high. The high of AA is when you get an opportunity to go through what you got to go through, the drinking and then the sobriety, the early sobriety part, and then you help somebody else. That's the high, man. Anyway, it's 5 minutes. Gonna go get my identification. I'm gonna see. Look at these tents, man. People just everywhere. Vancouver, people living outside doing drugs, man. We are the lucky ones. We are the lucky ones, man. Just all I did was drink. I just drank, and to a point where I couldn't drink no more, and I surrendered and I said, Mark, what do I got to do? And I did what he said, and I'm sober today. I just took the advice of those who went before me without evaluating it, and I just said, giddy up, let's go, I'll do it. Anyway, love you all. We'll talk later.